Hey there, it's Chris from Good Roads, and in this video I'm continuing my efforts to build myself a rope tow for my backyard snowboard mountain board park. I've got a powertrain, I've got a bull wheel, and now I need a frame to mount all those components to. Now this can't just be any frame, it has to be strong. It has to be strong enough to withstand the forces of pulling an adult male me up the hill, so I want to make it out of metal, which means I've got to do some welding. Which makes me a little nervous, because I've seen how y'all behave in the comments section of welding videos. Surly. But even though I'm a little nervous, I've procrastinated on this long enough. Let's get fabricating. This is actually going to be my second attempt at a frame for this rope tow. I started building the first one before I had the whole drivetrain worked out, and I decided to start anew because when you get all the components lined up, there are some interesting puzzles to solve around alignment and mounting points. So I started off this build with a lot of head scratching and rearranging of components to see what I had to work with. A sketchbook went a long way towards helping me figure out where everything needed to go. I decided on sort of a ladder platform for the main body of the lift. And with that plan in mind, I got cutting. And here you can see I'm lining up that angle iron with the mounting points for the motor and the gearbox. Those are going to get welded to the C-beams on the sides, and the bull wheel will live in the fork created out in front there. The lift is also going to need legs of some kind to get it up off the ground, and I'm going to use these beefier lengths of angle iron as the attachment point for those legs. I can get one in at the back of the platform, and I think I can squeeze one in between the gearbox and the bull wheel. To make the legs, I'm going to use this sort of square tubing? I actually don't know what this kind of stock is called. And I found this steel out in the woods. It's in surprisingly good shape for where it came from, but I do have to grind off some surface rust. Then I started planning out the legs themselves. They're going to have a long section of square tube with the length of C-beam on the bottom and the angle iron mounting point on top. After a bit of thinking, I decided I'm also going to make use of this smaller square tubing to make some diagonal supports. Triangles are the strongest shape and all that. Longer supports would probably be better, you know? No, I can do that. And hey, yeah, that's looking really good. The welder I got for myself is an inexpensive flux core welder that I picked up at Harbor Freight. I got some advice on Instagram that grinding the mill scale off of your stock can make that style of welding easier and cleaner. So I ground the C-stock down for the frame and legs. And then I used a belt sander to clean up and chamfer all the edges of my cuts. And with that, I can't procrastinate anymore. Let's get some appropriate music. Maybe something with a chunky electric guitar. What do you have for us, Drew? Yeah. Let's light this candle. way! Yo! That's so cool! It's huge! Once I had the frame standing up, I had a little bit of reinforcing to do. With that done, I could drop the components in place and see how we're looking. Ooh, baby. I might have to put an idler in for the pulley. Cool. Whoa. That's the idea. And that looks like a rope tow. I'm gonna have to drop an idler in for the pulley to route it around the leg brace, but that all is just looking fantastic to me. And it is huge! That bull wheel is nice and high off the ground. Which was an intentional choice, by the way. I feel like at the top of the run, it'll be safer to have the lift pulling you up than to have it pulling you down towards the ground. So, this was my first real fabrication project, and it was a big one. The welds certainly aren't pretty. I fiddled a lot with my power and feed speeds, trying to get a pool of molten metal that I felt was working and doing what I needed it to do. I had an especially tough time with the internal vertical welds between the angle iron and the C-beam. It was just a lot of tough angles and varying stock thicknesses, and it made it hard. I didn't really know what I was doing. But for every joint where I've got a questionable weld, I've got the same joint reinforced with a weld that I'm more confident in. And I think my work here is good enough for rock and roll. I'm pretty dang proud of it. So next up, I've got to clean up my welds. I've got to get everything mounted, maybe put a nice coat of paint down, and then I got to start splicing some rope. So if you like the project and want to see where it goes, or if you like awesome DIY board sport stuff in general, you should go ahead and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, you can join these amazing folks right here who contribute just a little every month over on Patreon, and those small contributions add up so that I can buy things for projects like, for example, flux welders. If you've got questions, comments, or advice, leave them down below. If you want to tell me I'm a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad welder, I don't want to hear it. I already know that. I'm learning, y'all. As always, I love having you guys along for the ride, so until next time, I'll see you soon. I am gonna have to drop an idler in for the pulley to route it. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. Drop an idler in for the pulley to route it around the leg brace.